Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. We have one big final before finishing the season between two very good teams, both in very good form, playing really entertaining proactive football, trying very interesting stuff tactically, and both having excellent talents, all having very good understanding of the game. I am very excited about this game and want to share my feelings and thoughts about it in this video. Mainly I want to discuss Inter's and Manchester City's build-up plays and pressing strategies, and by combining these with each other make some predictions about what could be the possible approaches of both teams in this final. Many of us consider Manchester City is the favorite of the final. Of course, their incredible form in last few months is undeniably making them so, winning 20 of their last 26 games, only lost one game in last 4 months, but I strongly believe the game could go much closer than many predictions. Actually, Inter are also at the top of their form, won 11 of their last 12 games, only lost against Napoli at Naples, where they sort of played with their second team due to the upcoming Champions League semi-final game. And they are one of the tactically interesting big teams of Europe since Conte. With Conte, they started playing this interesting build-up play with Brozovic joining the first line, replacing the white center-back, and white center-back pushes the forward, wing-back pushes even further forward, and they create an overload on one wing. And after that, Inzaghi certainly pushed the build-up play to even higher levels, made Inter more adaptable against different strategies and pressing structures. Although Inter play with a 5 at the back when they defend, this changes into a wide back 4 or an asymmetric back 3 during the build-ups. And they can switch between these structures within the game. In addition, the positional rotations they use during build-up and progression make them really hard to defend and press. Let's have a look at a few structures they used recently. In very ideal conditions, we see Dumfries, the right wing back, pushes high, and Darmian, the right wide center back, plays wide, with Brozovic as the pivot and Çalhanoğlu helping as auxiliary pivot if necessary. However, against high pressing teams, this changes. One option against strong zonal high presses is to pull the right center back and or left wing back deeper to create space in central areas. Another, against more man marking high press approaches, is to push Acerbi, the central center back, next to Brozovic, first to relieve pressure a little bit on center backs, and then to further move him higher to open space at the center. Meanwhile, Dumfries, who is an important threat in attacking third with his excellent physical abilities, pushes further forward for direct ball threats, and Barella replaces him in build-up. As Çalhanoğlu moves deeper, Lautaro Martinez moves his space, and Di Marco pushes higher behind Martinez. These rotations can happen very unpredictably and force the opponent to lose their positions by pinning them out of their zone. The players are always aware that if the opponent takes any extra risk by pushing one more defender from the last line to join higher pressure lines, and then punish them with direct balls if this happens. So how can Manchester City deal with Inter's fluid build-up play? We all know how Guardiola teams are good with the ball. This sometimes makes us underestimate how good they really are without the ball as well. And regarding out-of-possession strategies, this Manchester City showed us a lot of interesting ideas, especially after World Cup. Although Manchester City usually use a 4-4-2, we saw many variations of it with different intentions, width, height, etc. In past, we saw Guardiola using a 4-2-3-1 against deep asymmetric back threes. However, I believe against Inter, he will continue using his 4-4-2, but with some differences. Normally, the first pressure line of this 4-4-2 consists of Haaland and De Bruyne. However, this time I'm expecting him to sort of take advantage of opponent's asymmetric structure. I believe, as he usually does against teams using wingbacks, the fullbacks will jump on wingbacks. The left back, I believe this time Ake over Akanji, will be comfortable to mark opponent's wingback, as Dumfries usually don't join build-up and pushes high. As Walker jumps on Di Marco though, Bernardo Silva will be able to move even higher. So using the first line with Bernardo next to Haaland may make more sense for this game. Also, Bernardo can help his team to push Inter's press to one side where City can set their pressing traps. On the other side, Grealish's task might differ regarding what Inter chooses during build-up play. If we see Darmian playing narrow next to Onana, then Grealish can join the second line to limit central space further. If Darmian plays wider, then Grealish can play higher and gets ready to jump on Darmian as the pressure moves the ball towards him. If the ball moves to the right side, Walker can move back to offer +1 at the backline. While Gündoğan may stay mostly on Barella, Rodri's role may become even more critical, as he will be responsible for either offering a +1 at the backline or closing the space that might be left by Gündoğan. If Acerbi moves higher up the pitch, it will be critical for City players not to be manipulated with his movement and still keep their focus on Çalhanoğlu, who gets ready to come deep and help build up. Meanwhile at the backline, Lautaro and Lukaku will be tightly marked by Stones and Diaz respectively. Although on paper it looks like a 2v2 at the backline, Walker and Rodri will offer options to keep numbers and prevent direct attacks. Eventually, against Inter, a high press requires intelligent players, understanding what is happening on the pitch and deciding their jump or zone claims accordingly. Unfortunate for Inter, City players show some really good examples of option-oriented press this season. Inter, on the other hand, will still try to play with the advantage of a good ball-playing keeper and have 11 vs 10 advantage against City during build-ups. If City decides to stay lower, then a 4-1-4-1 shape at low and mid blocks might suit better than 4-4-2. Wingers can play between wider players and defensive line won't need to stretch a lot, keep numbers at the center where Inter will look for channels to open up. Let's look more at the opposite phase. How could the game look like when City have the possession and Inter defense? Inter's structure is suitable for almost man-marking high press against structures using back 4. The wingbacks can jump on fullbacks, mid-3 marks mid-3, and tada, it's man-marking high press. It's very probable that instead of their usual 3-2 build-up, we will see City to build up with 4 players. First to invite wingbacks to press, and secondly, wide area overloads against opponent players. However, I don't think Inter will usually want to press high against City. City's use of wingers wide can open huge spaces at the center of the backline, and we know how good now they are in punishing these spaces with Haaland and De Bruyne. On the other hand, Inter is very solid when they wait at low or mid block. They are also using this annoying 5-3-2 with wingbacks rarely jumping, instead wide midfielders jumping, and this would fit perfectly against this 3-2-2-3. Mainly because of this, I'm expecting a change in City's structure in possession. I expect them to start with a 4-1 or 4-2 at deep block, but as they move higher, I expect Walker to be the wide player at the right wing and City to overload left side. City didn't play against many teams using back 5 this season, but although strength-wise they are not comparable with Inter, I think Leicester game was still a good example of how to create threat against low block back 5s with narrow tips. As they progressed, they turned into a 3-1-5-1, 3-1-6 with Walker as the wide right winger and De Bruyne as the free roaming number 10. I believe this is the best solution against 5-3-2 or 5-2-3 low mid block. Instead of spending time to break pressure with switch plays at the base, push the ball through one side with wide overloads and later either use the numbers on both sides, or you don't have the advantage, then have the option to switch it once the opponent is forced to become narrower at the base. Although this will also mean that Stones may play again a more traditional center back role. But this is more reasonable considering opponent's first pressure line consisting of 2 players playing very narrow to each other, and Inter is really excellent at counterattacks. When they steal the ball, both wingbacks and Barella can easily join the front line. This structure will guarantee having Walker in front of Di Marco, Ake in front of Dumfries, Rodri in front of Barella, and Stones and Diaz of Inter forwards. Although the 3-2 structure can provide 5 players at the back, it will still require extra effort from City wingers to run back in transitions to follow their wingbacks. And that will weaken City's counter-press and will make them more susceptible to counter-attacks. To sum up, it is going to be a really good Champions League final between 2 excellent teams. first coaches, then each player's decision in every phase, sub-base, will be extremely crucial as each team play football like they play chess. I am looking forward to it. Whomever win it eventually, it's going to be a great spectacle to close the 22-23 season. Thank you for listening. If you liked my video, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe my channel. Until next time.